Hello everyone, with Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Tuesday evening, October 8th, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below, letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook. And we can see that as of their latest update that just came out at 7:59 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:59 p.m. at Jamaica time, so almost 20 minutes ago. We still have Major Hurricane Milton across the Gulf of Mexico. To the east of Milton, we have that area of disturbed weather that has a 30% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. To the southeast of that system, we have Hurricane Leslie across the northern portion of the main development region. And to the east of Hurricane Leslie, we have that area finally about to exit the coast of Africa. That's expected to push off into the waters of the Atlantic and have a 20% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. If we take a look at the the infrared satellite images of the Atlantic before the day was done, we can make out Hurricane Milton right there across the Gulf of Mexico. Definitely quite the formidable hurricane, category 5. We can see that area right here across the waters of the southwestern Atlantic that has a low chance of development over the next 7 days. That area associated with the clouds of Hurricane Leslie across the northern portions of the main development region. And to the east of that, still across Africa, we have that area of disturbed weather that has a low chance of development as it pushes towards the northwest. And we're going to be zooming in on the statistics as well as the satellite images regarding all of these entities. First, we're going to be starting with Milton. And we can see that as of their latest update that just came out at 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time, we have Milton still packing maximum sustained winds of 165 miles per hour. So over the past 24 hours, there have been some fluctuations. We saw that it went down to a category 4. Now it's back to a category 5. We know that category 5 strength is anywhere packing maximum sustained winds of 157 miles per hour or more. And considering that it's now packing winds of 165, definitely category 5 in general. This is as bad as it gets when it comes to these systems. I hope that the people of Florida are actually, evacuating or moving to higher ground as expected, because this seems to be quite the history maker across the Atlantic in general for 2024. We can see that as of right now, he's moving towards the east-northeast at 10 miles per hour. And we still have a tropical storm warning up for a portion of the Yucatan Peninsula. Even although it is moving away from the area, we expect Milton to still remain an M, that's a major hurricane, as it makes landfall along the west coast of Florida by about 1 a.m. on Thursday. This is as of the latest run or update from the National Hurricane Center. And we see the numerous warnings. In the red, that's hurricane warning. In the blues, that's tropical storm warnings. And the tropical storm warnings extend for all of the Florida Peninsula in general. And then we see that's expected to exit the east coast of Florida by around 1 p.m. on Thursday. Either way, even the northern Bahamas have a tropical storm warning in place and is expected to downgrade back to a tropical storm as early as Friday as it pushes towards the east, maybe coming close to Bermuda. Bermuda could be next in line after all is said and done. And if we take a look at the infrared satellite images, look at this system spinning like a gig. Look at how fast it's spinning. Definitely a bad situation. Look at it updating as we speak. Look at the high cold cloud tops as represented by the blues, the greens, the yellows, the oranges, the reds, the grays, the pinks, and the definite eye right there. This is just as bad as it gets. And the thing is, there's already a lot of rain coming into portion of Florida, so the ground is already saturated, so it's just setting the stage for an even worse impact in general. More flooding, freshwater flooding, and more storm surge coming from the sea. And we can definitely have outer bands from the system going into portions of western Cuba as well, the Florida Keys. It's just a very bad situation overall. Milton will definitely have its name retired for sure, especially if the system is actually, doing the most as predicted. If it actually does the most as predicted, definitely gonna be a retired name, won't be used again, just like Katrina when it hit the Gulf Coast. Boy, we just hope that we don't hear of any deaths or anything like that. We saw how many persons Helene alone killed, and now we have Milton. Hopefully the people are actually heeding the warnings of their local weather offices. As of right now, we can see that we still have the probability of tropical storm force winds across majority of Florida in general. As you can see, the purples represent a 90% chance, especially right there across the western coast of Florida for sure. And as we continue to go out in time, the probability is just going to be increasing even more. So it's definitely going to be a bad situation in general. And we know that the system is definitely growing larger the closer it gets to Florida, as the upper level winds are starting to shear the system off towards the northeast. Definitely going to be widening the wind field in general. And even the rainfall, we saw over the past couple of days that the rainfall was more so somewhere between 1 to 8 inches in the oranges, but now we're starting to see an increase with all of the reds up to 12, maybe close to 16 inches of rainfall all across the Florida Peninsula in general. It's definitely going to be a bad situation as we see this is going from 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Tuesday all the way up to 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Friday. So a lot of rainfall in store. Flash flooding is definitely going to be an issue. If we take a look at the information regarding the other system, let's zoom in and read what the Hurricane Center is stating about this one. Alright, so according to the Hurricane Center, last light visible satellite imagery indicates that the area of low pressure located northeast of the northwestern Bahamas has become better defined on the northern edge of a region of showers and thunderstorms. This system is already producing gale force winds, but environmental conditions appear only marginally favorable for additional tropical or subtropical development over the next day or so, while the low moves northeastward to east-northeastward at around 15 miles per hour. Upper level winds are likely to increase further by Wednesday night, which should end any chances for further development. Additional information on this system, including gale warnings, can be found in high seas forecasts issued by the National Weather Service. And we see that they've given it a 30% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 days and a 30% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. We'll see how that goes, and I'll definitely be here to keep you posted. As it relates to Hurricane Leslie, we see that she's not going to be affecting any land as of right now, packing maximum sustained winds of 75 miles per hour. So that makes her a low-end category 1. We know category 1 strength, basically packing winds of anywhere from 74 to 95 miles per hour. And considering that it's 75 miles per hour that she's packing right now, definitely low-end category 1. She's closer to tropical storm strength rather than category 2 strength in general. As of right now, she's moving towards the northwest at 14 miles per hour. and she's expected to weaken. As a matter of fact, she actually weakened over the past 24 hours back to a tropical storm, and then she re-strengthened, and now she's expected to maintain hurricane status all the way until Thursday afternoon, when she's expected to downgrade again and then curve northward, then all the way back to the northeast. Who knows, maybe she might just affect portions of the Azores Island, but we see that by that time, when it's getting closer to there, it should be downgraded back to a tropical depression on Sunday. We'll see how that goes. And regarding her look right now in general, we can see right here, definitely not looking anything like Milton. Don't see any eye, don't see any fast spin at all. Just some thunderstorms spinning around. Nothing drastic, but we know it's a hurricane anyway, so it can definitely cause damage. We're indeed grateful that it's not going to be affecting especially the Caribbean at all. If we take a look at that other system that has a chance of development right there off the coast of Africa, according to the Hurricane Center, a tropical wave is expected to move off the west coast of Africa in the next couple of days. Afterwards, the environmental conditions appear only marginally favorable for some limited development of the system while it moves westward or west-northwestward across the eastern tropical Atlantic and through the Cabo Verde Islands late Thursday into Friday. And so that they've given it a 10% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 days and a 20% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. Either way, whichever one of these systems develop first, we know the next name after Milton is Nadine, followed by Oscar. It's going to be interesting to see exactly what unfolds. If we take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see the area of low pressure associated with that code yellow to the east of Florida. We can see now newly upgraded Hurricane Leslie. As stated earlier today when this was posted, she was downgraded back to a tropical storm. You can see that we have a tropical wave right there to the east of the Caribbean. We can see a ridge of high pressure right here to the north of a tropical wave to the west of the Cabo Verde Islands. All of these entities definitely pushing westward to west-northwestward around this ridge of high pressure in general. We definitely have Hurricane Milton somewhere right here off screen. We can see the isobar associated with it. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images again of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can make out all of these entities. So first, even although we're seeing some glitches with GOES 16 right now, if I'm not mistaken, we can see the clouds associated with that code yellow. We can see Milton right here spinning away quickly. We can see Leslie right here spinning, and the clouds associated with that tropical wave right there off the coast of Africa. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean today later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Tuesday, October 8, 2024. It was stated that parts of southern Jamaica would have received some morning rainfall, and then section of northern Jamaica would have received some afternoon rainfall. And just for reference, we know southern Jamaica, we're talking about those parishes on the bottom side of the island, like Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. While northern parishes, we're talking about those parishes on top, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. And what ended up happening? As early as 4:50 a.m., the Cuban Doppler radar images were posted here on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that these posts aren't only made here on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica, but they're also made on our Instagram page at Weather.Jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we saw the Cuban Doppler radar images, and we saw the greens that represent some light to moderate rainfall coming into section of some southern parishes at around 4:50 a.m. So that indeed confirms the rainfall for southern Jamaica in the early morning hours. Then during the afternoon hours, let's see what was posted. So during the afternoon at around 5:20 p.m., we saw that we still had some rainfall coming into portions of southern Jamaica. As a matter of fact, when I was leaving work in Kingston today, I saw some rain bands coming into sections of the hills of eastern Kingston. I even saw some rainfall across portions of Bull Bay and St. Andrew, some moderate to heavy rainfall for sure coming in from the south. And even when I got home in St. Thomas, I got in on a little sprinkle of rainfall right here in my neighborhood. All of this from that moist southerly flow. And we can see this southerly flow on the latest visible satellite images. Look at the flow. We can see the clouds definitely pushing from south to north across the island. As a matter of fact, we definitely had some clouds bring some isolated shores section of some northern parishes today. And this is going to be the order of the day tonight. Well, the order of the day on Wednesday. Lots of rain coming in from the south in general. There could definitely be some isolated flash flooding with a moist southerly flow, especially with Milton expected to pass to the far north of us. All of the moisture is going to be pulling from the Caribbean across Jamaica and sucking all the way up into Milton in general. So we're definitely in for some wet times this week for sure with that moist southerly or southeasterly flow. If we take a look at the latest infrared satellite images, we can even make out the high cold cloud top. Well, not necessarily cold, but we do see the high cirrus cloud being pushed off from east-west to show that we have the upper level shear coming in from the east, while that low level flow coming in from the south. Quite an interesting pattern in general. And I even found that rainfall that I mentioned when I was leaving Kingston. Definitely right here on the panoramic city view, looking down on the national arena. Can definitely see that rainfall pushing in from left to right to indicate that they were definitely getting in on some light to moderate rainfall right there in eastern Kingston. Definitely can see the rainfall, inhibiting the the view in general of Kingston. So we were definitely getting in on some amount of rainfall at that time for sure. That was around 2:56 p.m. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that these live streams from See Jamaica are here for your viewing pleasure, so feel free to subscribe today. They also have live streams of Halfway Tree, Crossroads, the Kingston Harbor, Flatbridge, and they're planning on increasing the amount of cameras in and around the island. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out if or when they install a camera in your neighborhood. If we take a look at the accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map does indeed paint a picture of where we had the rainfall today. Just some on and off light rainfall, isolated in most spots across especially southern Jamaica, some of it across section of northern Jamaica as well, just like what we saw in the visible satellite images. I don't know, these maps aren't 100% accurate, but they do indeed paint a picture for the most part in at least a 60% chance accurate in general. If we take a look at the very latest infrared satellite image, look at this. This is as of the latest still image that just came out at 25 minutes past the hour, which is actually about 9 minutes ago. We can definitely see some clouds right there affecting maybe Negril, just some light patches of clouds here and there, especially on the south coast of the island. Let's see if we can match it to what we're seeing on the latest Cuban Doppler radar image. And the latest Cuban Doppler radar image just came out at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 7:20 p.m. Jamaica time. And we can even make out that rainfall, that portion of Negril is getting in on some light to moderate rainfall for sure, just to match the latest Doppler radar image to the cloud that we just saw on the still image of the infrared satellite image. We can even make out some rainfall right there to the north of Trelawney to signal that those areas were indeed getting in on some rainfall too, coming in from the south. We can see the cloud right there, and we can still see more rainfall in and around the island, some of it coming into portions of northwestern St. Elizabeth as we speak, some of it coming into portion of St. Catherine, maybe Kingston too, sections of St. Thomas, and we might see a lot of this spreading into portion of southern Jamaica, coming in from the south later on tonight into early Wednesday morning, as well as throughout the day on Wednesday in general with that moist southerly flow that is expected. If we take a look at the accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean if we take a look at the Guantanamo Bay military or naval radar, we can see that we don't have much taking place. Some rainfall right there across southeastern Cuba, some rainfall right there across section of the western peninsula of Haiti, some rainfall between Jamaica and Haiti as well. If we take a look at the Cayman radar, we can see some rainfall, more so coming in from the southwest, not necessarily from the south, passing to the east of the Cayman Islands. Some of this passing to the west of there as well. Don't see much taking place across Grand Cayman or Jamaica at this time. If we take a look at the very latest Crossroads live cam, we can see people going about their business, vehicles, people in their vehicles going about their business as well. Definitely a fair night at this time, but that could change as the night progresses. Maybe some isolated rainfall from the south for some spots. So look out for that, especially as we head into Wednesday. Some rainfall is definitely in the forecast. If we take a look at the temperatures right now, we can tell about 26 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. And by about 4 a.m. on Wednesday, temperature should dip down to about 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 26 degrees Celsius in Kingston. If we take a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is showing 18 on Wednesday when calculated. That's about 1 p.m. on Wednesday. We can see Jamaica right here, for the most part embedded in gray colors. And we know the gray colors are representative of the 0 on the key right here on the right. The 0 represents average temperatures. And we know the average temperatures for the month of October across Jamaica are about the same as 89 degrees Fahrenheit. 89 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 31.6 degrees Celsius when calculated. So we should be receiving anywhere from 31 to 31 or 31.6 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Wednesday. If we take a look here at tips to beat the heat, just in case it's a bit too hot for you tomorrow, 31 might be too hot for a lot of people. You know the drill. Always seek shade, dress down, wear light clothing, and use sunscreen. Eat fresh fruit. You can't go wrong with the fruits. Grapes, apples, watermelon. Stay cool. Stay indoors, make use of fans and AC, and always keep hydrated throughout the day. I cannot stress this enough, how important that is. It's not about whether you're thirsty or not. Always stay hydrated with a lot of water. We know our body is made up of a huge percentage of water in general. So just replenish the body in general. Always drink water. Stay away from the sugar drinks if I were you. If we take a look at the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Wednesday, we can see that some of the Saharan dust is starting to push and make its way into portion of the Eastern Caribbean. So we might just get on some hazy skies for portions of the Leeward and Windward Islands right here. Anywhere from the US Virgin Islands, east and southward, all the way down to Trinidad and Tobago, we might see some slight hazy conditions. And we know how the Saharan dust is. We might just get in on some persons with some asthma, sinusitis, or whatever the case may be, respiratory illnesses in general. Well, we can see the majority of North America, majority of the Central and the Western Caribbean, as well as South America, Central America as well, in on the clear conditions for now. But we know it's only a matter of time before most of this pushes from east to west across the Caribbean. Our only hope is that by the time it gets to the Central or Western Caribbean, majority of the dust has dwindled down and we don't even see it in our atmosphere. If we take a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, it makes sense that the highest waves are where we have majority of these systems. The highest waves where we have Milton right here across the Eastern Gulf, anywhere from 2 all the way up to 9+ meter wave heights. We can see by the purples, the burgundies, the oranges, the system that has a low chance of development right there to the northeast of the Bahamas, as well as Hurricane Leslie right there across the northern portion of the main development region. All of these areas going to be churning up the seas in general, while the area around Jamaica, the Bahamas, the central to the Eastern Caribbean, getting in on those lighter shades of blues, the slightly darker shades of blues that we know represent anywhere from 0.5 meter wave height all the way up to 1.5 meter wave height. And that's because the winds across the Caribbean not gonna be that strong at all. We see the general flow across the Eastern Caribbean from the east-southeast curving towards this northwest. We can see the flow across Jamaica from the south, more so from the south-southeast for tomorrow. We can see that flow around Milton. Look at that, from the west curving northward around the system in a counterclockwise fashion. Winds getting even stronger the more we get closer to Milton. 25 knots all the way up to the equivalent of the whatever category it is by that time when it's west of Florida tomorrow. Quite interesting. We can see the counterclockwise flow around the other system that has a low chance of development, and we can also see the counterclockwise flow across Leslie right there. Either way, the flow across the Caribbean, we see the lighter shades of greens for the most part, so we should be averaging anywhere from 5 maybe all the way up to 15 knots for the most part across our area. And in terms of the close-up of Jamaica regarding the winds, as stated, for tomorrow it's not going to be a direct southerly flow like what we're getting today. We can see a kind of kink to it from the southeast in general, so something like that. That's the order for tomorrow. So look out for whatever comes off of the sea from the south. And it's not only tomorrow but even early tonight into early Wednesday morning. Definitely look out for some of that rainfall, that moist flow that Milton is going to be influencing across the island. Not saying that it's Milton's outer bands, but Milton is definitely having an influence on the weather pattern across Jamaica in general. We know the usual flow across Jamaica when we have high pressure ridge, it's from east to west. And we have a lack of high pressure ridge at this time. Milton is toward northwest, so it makes sense that the flow is going to be more so from the south in general. And we can see that we are going to be having the least amount of winds across northern parishes. So we might just have all of that air piling up. Low level winds blowing in that area, causing low level clouds to become mid level rain clouds, if not upper level cumulonimbus clouds. So look out for that afternoon rainfall. And the upper level winds tomorrow, given a upper level high pressure to the north of Hispaniola, is going to be causing the upper level winds to be coming in more so from the east southeast across Jamaica tomorrow, curving around like this. We can also make out that strong upper level wind that's expected across Milton. We can see Milton right here as represented by the L tomorrow. So it's going to be starting to weakening, the system in general, which explains why most of the forecasts from the Hurricane Center have the system yet still making landfall as a major hurricane, but not necessarily a category 5 like what it is at this time. Lots of wind shear going to be starting to rip the system apart, and we're indeed grateful for that. If we take a look at the actual rainfall forecast now, we can see that the rainfall right here from the Euro, this is forecasting 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 9 p.m. Jamaica time tonight. And we do make out the blues represent rainfall in and around the waters surrounding the island. Some of that right there to the south of the island right there. Some of this might make it on shore, given the flow from the south in general. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this forecast. Skipping ahead now to about 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 9 a.m. Jamaica time. Look at what both the Euro and the GFS models are predicting for tomorrow morning. We still see the blues represent rainfall across especially southern Jamaica, maybe section of St. Thomas, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth. The GFS, a bit more robust, yes, incorporating St. Thomas, section of eastern St. Andrews, so to Clarendon, southern Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland getting in on the action too. We'll see how that goes. Then skipping ahead to about 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 2 p.m. Jamaica time. And we definitely see the consensus rainfall should be in and around most parishes. And we see the south-southeasterly flow. Rainfall across southern Jamaica, rainfall across northern Jamaica. Definitely gonna be interesting. Maybe quite a wet day. Who knows exactly how it's gonna go either way. As of right now, both supercomputer models are forecasting rainfall across most parishes for Wednesday afternoon. So anywhere from St. Thomas, Portland, St. Mary, St. Catherine, St. Anne, Clarendon, section of Trelawney in Manchester, St. Elizabeth, St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland might get on some amount of rainfall on Wednesday afternoon. Even as we get into 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 5 p.m. Jamaica time, both Euro and the GFS models are still forecasting rainfall. From the south to the north, right there, we're seeing the rainfall. And we're even seeing the rainfall as late as 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's actually 8 p.m. Jamaica time. More so on the GFS here than on the Euro. GFS has less of the rainfall. Well, Euro has less of the rainfall on land. GFS has more of the rainfall on land. We'll see how that goes for that time. Either way, there's rainfall in the forecast, and both accumulated precipitation forecast maps are in agreement with this. This map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Wednesday. Not saying that's going to be raining from now all the way up until then, but these are the spots that are going to be picking up the most in the way of rainfall. We can definitely see the GFS in consensus that the most rainfall should be right there to the south of us, to the south of St. Elizabeth, to the south of Manchester, south of Clarendon, south of St. Catherine, and given the moist southeasterly flow across the island, most of this will definitely make it over us. And then when it's time for the daytime heating, northern Jamaica going to be getting on their fair share of rainfall. Who knows, some of this rainfall from the south might just cross all the way over already moist to affect sections of those parishes on top. We'll see how that goes. Either way, we're indeed grateful. We're in the month of October. During this month, we usually receive the most in the way of rainfall in general. In Kingston, whose bar graph is here at the top, we usually receive close to 200 millimeters of rainfall. In Montego Bay, whose bar graph is right here at the bottom, we usually receive close to 9 inches of rainfall. You can do the math yourself with this little graphic that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. 200 millimeters of rainfall is about the same as 8 inches of rainfall. So you can do the math yourself, and you can also visit weatherandclimate.com to find out about what your specific parish user receives for the entire year in general. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as of right now, the Caribbean, we can see that moist southeasterly flow across portion of the eastern Caribbean. We also saw some thunderstorms across portion of northwestern Puerto Rico, northern Dominican Republic as well. Section of Venezuela, sections of Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, as usual, getting in on their fair share of thunderstorms. We can see the clouds associated with Milton still lashing portion of the Yucatan Peninsula. Belize getting in on some of the outer banks as well. All of this starting to lift and push northeastward into Florida as we speak. The Bahamas definitely already getting on some amount of rainfall. And we can see the clouds associated with Leslie right there spinning away and pushing towards the northwest. If we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, we can definitely make out some isolated showers in and around the areas represented by the greens. In and around St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda, some rainfall across eastern Puerto Rico as we speak. And if we put the Doppler radar images into motion from about 2 p.m. today, we can definitely see that moist southeasterly flow portion of Puerto Rico definitely got in a small amount of rainfall today. And if we take a look at the Barbados radar, we can definitely make out some rainfall coming in from the east-southeast moving towards the west-northwest. Some of this rainfall definitely lashed portion of Barbados earlier today. Some of this rainfall could make it into portion of St. Lucia, St. Vincent, the Grenadines already getting nailed, section of Grenada getting in some amount of rainfall as we speak. We can already see some of that rainfall affecting Dominica. Some of it could make it there as well. And we can already see some rainfall affecting portion of Trinidad and Tobago right now. Regarding the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see the rainfall already affecting portion of western Florida. We can already see some rainfall affecting portions of the Yucatan Peninsula associated with the bands from Milton pushing from northwest to southeast. Some rainfall across Colombia, Venezuela. Some rainfall as well across portions of the Bahamas too. And regarding where the most rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, look at that. Clearly the most rainfall is going to be where we have Milton as it pushes towards the northeast, towards the west coast of Florida. Look at the purples, look at the pinks, look at the salmon colors, all of that pushing towards Florida, and we know all of that represents 3 all the way up to what, 8 inches of rainfall or more. We can also see the greens, the yellows, the oranges, all the way up to the reds, that represents anywhere from 0.2 all the way up to 1 inch of rainfall that's expected within the next 24 hours. For a portion of Cuba, the Bahamas, the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, portion of Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands, the Leeward Islands, anywhere from Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Barts. You can also see some isolated shores for portions of Guadeloupe, Dominica, section of Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, sections of Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana. We can also see some rainfall across section of Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, southern Guatemala as well. Don't see much for portion of Belize, but section of the Yucatan can still get in on some amount of rainfall. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this forecast. I know that when they're in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for now. Thanks for watching.